So today there's a lot going on in the market, but we're actually not going to focus on the US. We're actually going to go to the UK today. So sorry if any of you guys are expecting some US news, but what I will say is it's another good day in the S&P 500. As you can see here, the S&P is up another 0.7%. So that basically means we are very, very close out to the all-time highs. So you can see here that the, as you see, we're 4,554. And I believe the all-time high was around that 4,766, I believe. So we're not actually that far away at all, really, from breaking the all-time highs. We're around 4.4% away. So a little bit more of a rally, and we could see us back at all-time highs, and that's crazy to think about. I don't know if we should push the all-time highs yet. I can see it by the end of the year, but I don't know if right now would be the right thing to do. So we'll see what happens. Maybe that when we get there, we take a little bit of a break, and that would make sense. But obviously, still good there. Good day in the portfolio. Good day in the account once again. The King taking a bit of a break today, but still doing okay. But we're going to focus on the UK stocks. And if you look here, you can see the FTSE 100 had a very good finish towards the close. Why is that? Not 100% sure why. You can see that it was roughly tight around the US Open, and maybe the optimism around the US is now spreading into the UK. We saw that with the inflation data was very good from the US, and maybe that helped the UK. Funny enough, the inflation data coming out for the UK tomorrow. That's released on the 19th of July. I believe I just looked at the expectations, and I believe it was something like 8.2, I believe the consensus is. So we'll see what happens there. But individually, there's some UK stocks that are absolutely smashing at the moment. Darktrace, oh my days, we talked about this on Sunday, one of the stocks to be watching out for. Thought they were going to bring out the trading update this week. I was thinking either Wednesday or Thursday. Came out today. Now, I'm not going to break a fully into the earnings. They did bring out their earnings, the Q4 financial year 23 trading update, as you can see here. We aren't going to go through this today. I will do that on the Patreon. So if you do want to join and watch the exclusive video on the Patreon, the link is in the description. It's only £5 a month, 2 exclusive videos a week. Discord with 500 members on to talk about stocks. But Darktrace did have a very good day today, as you can see here, up 27%. And I could tell it was a good day because if it was down 27%, I can bet you I would have had 100 comments in the comment box going, Darktrace is down 27%, what is going on? But because it's up, everyone was too busy checking the counts going, look how much is up here. I cannot believe the amount of comments that I'll still get about either gang, skills, or best of the best. Those three stocks, the amount of questions I still get asked about them stocks is just unbelievable. Not talked about them for such a long time, and when I do talk about them, and then I still get questions about them nearly every single week. But Darktrace obviously must have been having a very good time because it was up over nearly 30%, and it was very quiet out there. Now, I don't actually think there was that much to do with the actual trading update. I don't think there was that much. It was an okay trading update, but what I believe the big rally is because there was the trust element that came back. And what I mean by that is that they actually, if you look here on it made it on CNBC. I actually think Darktrace should have massively listed on the US stock exchange, by the way. I don't think it should be on the UK stock exchange. I think they should be on the US market. I think that would be a lot better for them and for the shareholders, but that's a different story. But you can see it, they said the shares popped 26%. After EY concludes the reporting into account allegations. So basically, Darktrace bought a company in to go through the account details and see if everything they've been posting is correct. And they basically said, yeah, there was just a couple of small errors, which you're always going to get with these sort of things, but nothing material that changes the financial statements massively. And that is big. Now, the reason why they did that is because there was a short seller report that came out. So there was a short seller report. I can't even remember who it was that actually brought the short seller report out. Yeah, it was here QCM. So yeah, they brought a 70-page report out, basically having a big pop at Darktrace. When the short report actually happened, the shares dived massively, and that's actually when I bought in. I thought, I think they're okay here. I looked at the response from Darktrace. I looked at the share buybacks. I thought they were okay, and that's where I started buying. Now, obviously, I got a really good level here during the whole dip that it'd been on with so many stocks have been dipping during that time frame, and obviously I think I'm up like 40-50% on my shares now. But it's fair play to Darktrace. They handle this as best as they can. The response was good. They've even brought in a company now to obviously go through the counts and say, yep, they're all absolutely fine. Obviously, that's absolutely amazing. But it does beg the question of like, how are short sellers allowed to get away with this? How are they allowed to, obviously put a short position on, then bring out this news that affects the share price, make all these, false allegations against the company, which then obviously material affects the shareholders, obviously affects the company's valuation, and they profit from it and then sell out. Once again, you're asking the question, why is this allowed? Surely there should be some an investigation into this, and why are they allowed to do this? And any company, there shouldn't be a company of this magnitude that is able to do this. They shouldn't have a reputation of, when they do bring out a short report, how it is going to dump on that, on the short report, because they have a good track record, or they've got 2 out the last 10 right. There's a chance that they could be right. It shouldn't be allowed unless it's factually proven. Then they shouldn't be allowed to make that bad of a false claims on a company. It's for that sort of, how the company's being affected on the share price, and also how the shareholders being affected, there should be some compensation out. You have caused big issues to shareholders and the company value. You should be compensated for that. I just think it's massively wrong, and it shouldn't be allowed. But once again, you look at the regulation bodies for this, like the SEC or any other kind of bodies out there, they're just so slow to deal or do anything with this. It's crazy. But yeah, so I think overall, the accounts were good, or okay, considering the environment they're in. But I think this is the reason why, because the shares being so low after that short report, that I think that now someone's come out and said, yeah, we've gone through the accounts and they're absolutely fine. I think that's some confidence that has been put back into Darktrace, and you might see a few more people being willing to buy up the shares now. So obviously that's been a fantastic day for us, and another stock that's been doing very well. Revolution Beauty. So this actually had a really good pop on the open, and then gave a lot of it back. So it only ended up 3.5% up. The drama between Revolution Beauty and Boohoo carried on today, but it seemed like it might be the end of it. So they came to an settlement agreement with Boohoo. Basically, Boohoo have kind of got the way now. Bob Holt is going to be leaving the business. Also, there's going to be Alistair McGeorge going onto the board as well. So Boohoo have kind of got what they wanted. Seems like, from my point of view, is that when they've settled down and looked into the situation, and maybe Boohoo do have a kind of leg to stand on, or maybe there was some kind of resolving issue about the direction of where the companies were going. I don't know, obviously you don't really know until if you were in that actual meeting. I don't know if there's been some of the founders potentially pushing the company, or one of the businesses, or both businesses, to a certain direction. Overall, I'm a bit disappointed, because I looked at Bob Holt and I looked at what his Q1 update was. It looks very good. Obviously, he's been accumulating a lot of shares, so that looks really positive that he was buying some shares. Maybe now he holds them and thinks, I still think Boohoo will do a good job with this. Or maybe he looks like, I'm not going to be managing this stock anymore, so I'm going to look to probably move these shares on him a little bit. We'll see what happens. I would have preferred Boohoo not to get their hands on this, because I look at the job that they have been doing inside their company, and I am not happy with the job that they've done, and I don't want that to spread to Revolution Beauty. But obviously, clearly, I think that if they can do the Q1 update that they did, and obviously Bob Holt's buying shares, so maybe the business is doing really well. Maybe it's still doing very well and continue to do very well. I don't know. It's all up in the air at the moment, so we'll have a better idea when we get a few more quarters under our belt. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I thought the market would react positively to it because of the whole argument that's going on, and maybe this being resolved will calm a few things down, and shareholders will like that and get rid of the uncertainty. I don't know if there's uncertainty created now because they're looking for a new CEO, but I've not really got too much opinion on it. Just that I thought I would have preferred it to stay more out of Boohoo's hands and stayed in Bob Holt's hands, but there had to be some sort of progress made here at some point, so maybe it was the right thing for everyone. But yeah, we'll see where we're at. Same, it's one of the, I've always said, I have to give Revolution Beauty a year to see where I am before I do anything with this stock. But it was good open. It pushed us back up over 100% on that, but then it obviously gave something back. So I think we're somewhere like 90 something percent up on this position, so still doing okay. S4 Capital, a very good day with S4 Capital. Seems like that kind of rally in the UK market, the rally in the US market has been dragged into S4 Capital. It was only on the UK stock time buying video only a couple of days ago, last week, I was saying how cheap it is. Like, I just can't believe how cheap S4 Capital is. And obviously since then it's been on a little bit of a rally. I'm still down on the position, but obviously it's doing really well. This was a stock that was one of the stocks on the list that I'll get a million questions on it because it's going down, but I've not had really any questions in the last couple of weeks about it, obviously because the share price is going back up again now. Everyone's looking at it going now, oh, it's going on right now, So it still amazes me like how the emotion difference between when the stock's going up and the stock's going down and the panic of a stock going down does cause. But obviously, yeah, it's had a good rally. Since that time frame, since the back end of June and into July, it has rallied up nearly 30%. I think like I said, I think it just got stuck stupid low. Like, I know there's issues going on with the environment that they're in the digital marketing space, but it shouldn't be at these sort of levels. So good to see it rallying up. Obviously, I'm still down on the position. I think I'm down like 38% or something. So obviously, I think my average is like £2.10, £2.20, £2.10 maybe. So obviously, it was having a good time through the start back end of 2023, back 2022 into 2023. Then the whole kind of situation around Martin Sorrell's health came out. Obviously, that seems to have quieted down a little bit now. So, I wouldn't be too surprised to see his rally back up into that kind of £2 range, which would be great. I'd love to get back break even on this business. I think that's where it should be. And then obviously when the marketing sector starts to recover, hopefully by the back end of the year and into 2024, then we start heading back to where I think we will be in the longer term, which is towards that £5 range. And then hopefully we can build up and really build up that profitability, and then sort of pushing towards that the £10 range if we can get there, or £8 range. That would be absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's what we'll see on that one. But I thought I'd just point out that rally that's been on. And the last thing, starting to get a lot of questions around currency, the FX impact at the moment. I've not had any of these for nearly October time. That's the last time I got this amount of FX questions. So obviously the dollar went really strong back then in October. Now it's going really weak. So we've gone from one extreme to another. And I'm going to say exactly the same thing on what I said when it was the other way around in October time. Obviously right now, because of how strong the pound's getting, if you're in a lot more US stocks, you've seen, obviously the gains been really good, but it's also been slowed down a little bit by the whole FX impact and, the pound getting stronger. So, I mean, it's one of those, like, it's always like a major issue made out of it. And I always say, like, you don't want to be investing off FX. I remember a few points where people were at this point saying, oh, it's going to get worse, and then obviously we move back in the right direction. It'll normally average around. There'll be times where it goes up, there'll be times where it goes down, but I won't base my investing off this. I won't base my investing off this, because over a longer period of time it will balance out, and there'll be times where it's stronger one way to the pound, one way stronger to the dollar. It will fluctuate, but it wouldn't mean, let's say worst case scenario, a 10% fluctuation in the dollar and in the pound won't affect me as a long-term investor, because as a long-term investor, what am I trying to do? Well, most of you guys know I try to buy stocks for 2 to 5 years. In that 2 to 5 years, I try and achieve 100% return on those companies. So for me, I don't panic around 10%. I don't panic around 10% when I'm trying to make over 100%, because in the long term, that's what's going to be the bigger thing. And also, it's very much like a point of view, like, as long as you buy in a company, if you buy a company at £1 or £2, if that stock goes up to £5-6, maybe you could have made a bit more money, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be worrying about it too much if you've made that much of a gain on it. It's just little things. So yeah, I mean, I've started to see this mentioned a little bit more, and that's my thoughts on it. Like, I would not even consider it. I would consider it. I would look at it and go, oh, that's obviously having a bit of an impact at the moment, but it would not change what I'm buying, what I'm selling, what companies I'm looking into, what companies I believe in the long term. It would not make a single difference to me. Anyway, so there we go, guys. Obviously a lot of UK talk today, so I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you could hit that like button, that's absolutely amazing, and I'll see you in a bit.